Close your eyes for a second and listen. Whatever room you're in right now, there's sound. Maybe a fan humming, maybe a car passing outside, maybe the buzz of a fridge, a notification on your phone, the distant hum of a highway, someone talking in another room. Every sound you're hearing right now was made by humans, or by machines humans built, or by animals living in a world humans reshaped. Now try to imagine Earth before any of that existed. Not just before cities, before humans, before us. Not silence, never silence, but a soundscape so alive, so layered, so unimaginably loud in places, and so absolutely quiet in others, that if you could actually hear it, your brain wouldn't know what to do. This is what the planet sounded like before we showed up. And once you understand it, you'll never hear the world the same way again. Let's start with the loudest place on ancient Earth, the ocean. Modern oceans are noisy, but not in the way you think. Most of the sound in today's ocean is human-made. Ship engines, sonar, oil drilling, propellers. Scientists call it the anthropophony, the sound of humanity, and it's drowning out everything else. But 400 years ago, before commercial shipping, the ocean was filled with a completely different noise. Whales. We think of whales as rare today, endangered, protected. But before whaling began in the 1500s, there were somewhere between 4 to 5 times more whale from the ocean than there are now. Some estimates go even higher. Blue whales, humpbacks, right whales, sperm whales, gray whales, all singing, calling, echolocating across thousands of miles. Whale song can travel over 1,000 miles underwater in the right conditions, which means, before humans, a blue whale singing off the coast of what is now California could be heard by another blue whale near Hawaii. The entire ocean was a communication network, a living, singing, breathing sound system that stretched from pole to pole. Now, most whales barely hear each other over the engines. The ocean isn't just emptier, it's quieter in the way that matters. The songs are still there. Almost no one is listening anymore. Now, come up to land, specifically North America, around the year 1400, before European contact. The forests here were unrecognizable compared to today, not just in what they looked like, but in what they sounded like. Start with the passenger pigeon, once the most abundant bird species on Earth. There were an estimated 3 to 5 billion of them in North America. When they migrated, flocks were so massive they blocked out the sun for hours, sometimes days. Eyewitness accounts from the 1800s described the sound of a passenger pigeon flock as, quote, a tornado, a hurricane, 1,000 threshing machines running at once. People said they had to shout to be heard when a flock passed overhead. The wings alone created a roar that shook windows. The last passenger pigeon died in a zoo in 1914. That sound is gone forever. Now multiply that, because the passenger pigeon wasn't alone. Before human impact, the skies over North America contained flocks of Eskimo curlews, Carolina parakeets, and dozens of other species in numbers that are almost impossible to picture today. Dawn wasn't a gentle chorus. It was a wall of sound so dense that early European colonists wrote letters home complaining they couldn't sleep because the birds were too loud. Now add insects, because insect populations before industrial agriculture were estimated to be at least 4 times what they are today. Cicadas, crickets, katydids, grasshoppers. On a summer night, the buzzing was so thick that in some regions it registered on early scientific instruments as constant low-frequency vibration. The night was never quiet. It just wasn't quiet the way we understand quiet. Now, go somewhere else. The African Savanna, 200,000 years ago. Herds moved across the land in numbers we can barely comprehend. Millions of wildebeest, zebra, and antelope migrated in waves. The ground literally vibrated as they passed. Early humans could feel a herd coming through the soles of their feet before they could see it. Add lions roaring at night, whose calls carry up to 5 miles. Elephants communicating through infrasound. Low-frequency rumbles below the range of human hearing that travel through the ground for miles. Hyenas laughing, baboons screaming, hippos bellowing from rivers. And beneath all of it, the wind. Because there were no buildings to break it, no cities to absorb it, the wind moved uninterrupted across open plains for thousands of miles, creating a constant low howl that ancient humans grew up hearing every single day of their lives. But here's the strangest part. Some places on ancient Earth were absolutely silent. Not quiet, silent. Deep inside caves, before any human ever entered them, there was no sound, no dripping, no wind. In certain geological pockets, the silence was so complete that if you had somehow been able to stand there, you would hear your own heartbeat, your own blood moving. Some scientists believe you might even hear the faint sound of your own nervous system. The deepest deserts at midday were nearly the same. No animals, no wind sometimes. Just the sun and the sand and nothing else. Ancient humans experienced both extremes. the loudest environments this planet ever produced, and the most silent. Their ears were tuned to a range of sound our modern ears will never fully understand. Now, think about what we've done to all of this. A study published in 2017 looked at protected wilderness areas across the United States. In 63% of them, human noise had at least doubled the background sound level. In 21%, human noise had increased background sound by 10 times or more. There is almost no place left on Earth where you can experience a truly pre-human soundscape. Even the most remote parts of Alaska, the deepest jungles of the Amazon, the middle of the Pacific Ocean, all of them are touched by the hum of engines, aircraft, and industry. An acoustic ecologist named Gordon Hempton has spent decades searching for places of true natural quiet. In 1984, he documented 21 such places in the United States. By 2007, he could only find 3. Today, he estimates there may be none. We didn't just build cities on top of the old world. We drowned out its voice. And here's what almost no one thinks about. The sounds of ancient Earth weren't just background noise. They were information. They were survival. They were culture. Humans evolved for 2 million years listening to a specific soundscape. Our nervous system, our sense of peace, our sense of danger. All of it was calibrated to sounds most of us have never actually heard. Which might be why modern life feels so exhausting. Why we crave the ocean, the forest, the mountains. Not because they're beautiful, because somewhere deep in our brain, we're still listening for a world that no longer exists. You've never heard the Earth the way your ancestors did, and you probably never will. But if you stand somewhere quiet enough, on a still night, far from any road, you can almost catch the edge of it, a hint of what once was, a planet that was never silent, just never full of us.